Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing good today. So a lot of people have wanted me to cover the Brian McKnight situation. As you guys know, we've covered Brian McKnight over the years on this channel. I don't know what has happened to this man, but he's truly lost himself. So the last time we reported on Brian McKnight, it came out that his son, Niko, was diagnosed with cancer. And he was trying to, live, and, he needed all the help that he can get. And he was reaching out to his father. Brian claimed that they tried to get him the best oncologist and get him treatment, but that Niko's evil mother, blocked all these blessings. And so Brian and his wife decided to pull out. So since then, he's basically had been ignoring Niko. And one of the last posts that Niko made on social media, he said the following: "When I was about to die in the hospital from complications from my cancer, I just wanted to bear the hatchet and hear him say he loves me. And he told me he couldn't arbitrarily tell me he loves me. This still cuts so deep." Now, he wrote that on April 18th of 2024 at 2 in the morning. So obviously he was very, very bothered. Then he went on to say, "Sometimes I wonder if my dad's karma is my close proximity to death. Like maybe if I end up dying, it will release him from the grip of evil." Then he says, "If I could just have one more group hug between me, my brother, my mom, and my dad, I'd truly be ready." Then in October, he wrote, "Every day I feel so embarrassed by how things went with our dad. When you're faced with a situation like mine, it quickly shows you what really matters. And family matters most. I miss my family so much." So those were some of the things he's been saying, because he's been battling cancer for the past 2 years. And so it was announced by Brian McKnight Jr., the older brother of Niko, that his little brother had passed. And so I'm going to go ahead and read you guys what Brian McKnight Jr. had to say. He says, "I'll live the rest of my life in a constant state of disbelief. My beautiful baby brother, I will love you until this plane ceases to exist. There is no me without you, so living just feels out of whack. The balance is gone and I will never be the same. The entire world feels bleak and dim without you. I was the luckiest big brother in the universe. It almost seemed unfair at times. Though I'll never understand this, I'm so glad you're no longer in pain and are now at the ether and upon the string theory we both believe in. Wait for me there." This is now officially a Niko Stan page. Brothers in arms forever. Long live Johnny Boy. So that is what Brian McKnight Jr. had to say. So a lot of people are really saddened by this. And so people have been waiting for Brian McKnight to, speak on Niko, speak on his cancer. And Brian has just been living his life as usual. His stepson, Jack, recently graduated from psychology and neuroscience. Congratulations to him, but it's just weird how he moves. So he posted this, and it's called Fatherhood Fridays, episode 25. He started an episode basically constantly bigging up the little baby and his stepchildren.
"Me and my shadow, I'm senior, he's junior. Me and my shadow, wish he could have come sooner. Me and my shadow, we're lovingly tethered. Me and my shadow do everything together. Me and my shadow, one day you'll fill my shoes. God only knows just how much I love you."
So he says here, sneak peek, Jack's graduation, 5/9/2025, Psychology and Neuroscience Department. "Jack, my son, when your mom brought you into my life, you were just 11 years old. I really didn't know what to expect or what our father-son relationship would become. Your bedroom was the furthest away from the front door, over the garage. I remember it like yesterday. Every time I was coming home from up the street, you would hear my car, and when you heard the garage open, you would run down the hall, down the steps, and would wait for me just to give me a hug and ask me how my day was. That was 11, almost 12 years ago. Now my oldest son has graduated from college today. You and I are living proof that a real father-son relationship isn't limited to biology. I cried at the middle of your school graduation. I cried at your high school graduation. But this ceremony was an epic waterworks display. I'm so proud of your accomplishments. I'm so proud of the man you have become. And most importantly, I'm proud that you are my son. Congratulations, my boy. I love you so much. Again, congratulations to Jack, but you also have a child that's dying in the hospital that also wants your love. And the fact that he's just being so petty to me is insane. But I guess I shouldn't be shocked because if you guys remember, we posted this over a year ago. He said that he cannot accept his biological children because they were the product of sin. He told this to Page 6. Okay? His black children were the product of sin. So when Nico heard this, he was very upset. Nico says, "I'm evil, that's wild. The guy who used to make me clean his used condoms out of his bathroom at 15 before Lisa got home is calling me evil for show." Then he says, at 50 clicks, "The guy who forged SIGs on our names is calling us evil for show." So, Nico was really upset about that because it's like, how can you call your kids the product of evil even if you don't like your mom? So when Brian McKnight was gushing over Jack, somebody in the comment section asked him this 2 weeks ago. They said, question, "How many sons do you have, Mr. Brian?" And so he replies back, "I have 3 sons. Jack, 22 years old. That's the Hawaiian kid that just graduated. Brian Jr., 2-year-old. And Kioma Mato. And that's the one who I guess passed because they had a miscarriage baby." So he's claiming a dead child that was a miscarried baby that he never really got to bond with as one of his children, as one of his sons. And I'm not saying miscarried babies don't count, but he never got to hold that baby, never got to bond with that baby. And you're literally ignoring your other 2 children that are alive at this time. He already has a son named Brian McKnight Jr. He basically ignores that son and he decides to name his 2-year-old Brian McKnight Jr., as if the older one doesn't even exist. The way he moves is just really disgusting. So now on top of this, the uncle came out. His name is Claude McKnight. He also talked about Nico's death. So y'all go ahead and check this out.
So all day, I said to myself I wasn't going to post about this. And as the day wore on, I realized that how could I not post about this? This morning, I found out that my nephew, Niko McKnight, passed away. He'd been bravely battling cancer for the last 2 years or so. And I have a lot of feelings right now. I'm not going off a script or anything like that. I'm just going to be raw with how I'm feeling. Niko was one of those amazing kids who was quirky and curious and ridiculously talented. Amazing singer, an amazing guitar player, had a great eye, was a photographer. And just one of those kids that, at least in my estimation, was somebody you always wanted to be around. And so it really sucks that he's no longer with us. And I will also say, probably one of the reasons why I wasn't going to post about it is I post a lot of things, but I don't post a lot of really, really serious subject things, or certainly family things. And I wanted to post this about Niko, about his legacy, about how amazing he is, and not about what some of you may have heard about, the family drama that has existed for quite some time in our family. I'm not here to discuss that or to talk about how that happened or why it happened. This is not the time or the place, but what I will say is, in any situation, there's always at least 3 sides to a story. There's my side, your side, and the truth. And the truth a lot of times is somewhere in between. So here's the thing. I don't know exactly what was going on there. I know what I've seen. I know what I've heard from all parties involved. And I try not to judge. I just try to be as loving to each person as I can be, because apparently there's so much hurt going on, or was so much hurt going on, that a lot of things didn't get resolved. And again, I want to go back to Niko. I know that kid had a lot inside, a lot eating at him for a long, long, long time. That may have contributed to what happened with him. What I do know is he's out of pain now. And so I can rejoice in the fact that he no longer has to go through the chemo and the radiation and everything else. But I just want to uplift that young man and say we will see him again one day. I love you, Nico. Uncle Claude.
All right, so you guys just heard from Uncle Claude, and that was such a sweet message. He's very soft-spoken. He looks and sounds a lot like He looks and sounds a lot like Brian McKnight. They're clearly brothers. So, you know, a lot of people are shocked that Brian still hasn't said anything. He hadn't posted about Nico. Brian Jr. says something, the family, the mother, the uncle. So as of today, Brian McKnight is speaking. And once again, he's getting drugged all up and down social media. So we're going to go ahead and listen to what Brian McKnight has to say.
Big thanks to Claude McKnight's tasteless and self-aggrandizing announcement on TikTok that frankly was not his to make. In my opinion, he inserted himself and used Nico's death as an opportunity instead of letting him pass with respect and dignity. It has instead turned into a circus, a mockery of a life now lost, making this tragedy into a reality show type drama. While that was unfolding, my family and I flew home to Maui and had a private memorial remembering him and all the good times. The last time he and I spoke, we offered him all the help we could provide. We had the #1 oncologist on deck for him and a team of specialists on standby with private care in our home. He and his mother declined. The door of communication was open and remained open until his death. To the self-proclaimed mama bear, may God have mercy on your soul for not allowing him to accept that help and not allowing him to use that line of communication. There is great comfort in knowing God knows the truth and the totality of the whole story. I am truly thankful for the immense peace God has given me, and I've left everything in his hands. I have a clear conscience. The only judgment that matters is God's. My wife, our children, and I are eternally thankful to Almighty God that the suffering has come to an end and grateful for all of your condolences. Thanks to those of you who have known the truth from the beginning and haven't let untruths, half-truths, or slander prejudice your opinion.
All right, child, that is what Brian McKnight had to say. I mean, it's just sad. It's sad that it ended this way. It's sad that he has so much love for his other children, stepchildren, the baby that he calls his shadow. But the whole time, these two young men, Brian McKnight Jr. and also Nico, have been crying for their father's attention and love, including his daughter. He also has a daughter as well. I don't know what's going to happen going forward. It looks like Brian's just going to live his life. And, he's washed his hands of the other side. And there's no, teaching an old dog new tricks. So Brian is going to do Brian, but it's really sad. Rest in peace to Nico. He was very, very talented, and I'm just glad that he's no longer suffering. Tea sippers, I leave the conversation up to you guys. Please go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing. Please feel free to share this video, and most importantly, please make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, and I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.